Hey guys, what's up? It's Sajika. Welcome to my channel where I do art, student and lifestyle videos. So if you're interested in any of that, hit down below and subscribe. I hope you have an amazing day and let's get into it. So I actually can't believe that I've been doing these videos for like a year now. This is like throwing me off so much. But this is my 2022 bullet journal setup for the first half of the year. Mostly for the first half of the year. Some of the spreads spread into the second half of the year, but that's only because they're future planning spreads. So yeah. So I actually at one point told you guys that I was gonna get the therapy notebook for this time, and I did. I planned that, but originally I was gonna go home for Christmas, so I had it shipped home. And I'm not going home anymore, so I'm here and it's reached my home, but I'm waiting for something else, and then my parents will ship it over, so I had to buy a whole new notebook, which is not from Notebook Therapy. You guys will see it in a second. But yeah, this is my 2022 setup. I really like how it came out. It's a bit more colorful than last time, but again, I started the whole minimal thing just because I like all my like color and my themes to be in my monthly setups rather than my yearly setup. So it's more minimal than you would expect from me, but you guys will see that in a second. But I really like how it turned out. So if you guys are planning with me, grab your new notebooks, your pens, your washi tapes, whatever you want, your stamps if you have them, and if you're not, sorry for that, if you're not, then grab a snack, a drink, something or the other, and let's get into it. So I actually specifically mentioned in my Amanda H. Lee notebook review that I would not be getting another ArtStudentLife notebook because I didn't like the linen cover and it annoyed me because it gathered dust. And otherwise the notebook was amazing and beautiful, but I just didn't like the cover, and I much preferred the faux leather cover, and that's why I was gonna get Notebook Therapy, because it was faux leather and it was cheaper. But as things turned out, ArtStudentLife was the only one that was available on short notice. I literally got this shipped to me in one day from Miso Paper, and I love their website. I'm gonna link it down below. As always, everything that I used will be linked down below. And so the first spread, obviously on the cover I wrote down the key. Now this is only my third year now, third year bullet journaling, and I do still keep the key around just for you guys as well as myself. Sometimes I like to refer to it because I forget the little additional keys that I do use in my bullet journal. And on the other side, obviously, it's just my name, and I wrote a little 2022 below that just to keep track of what journal I'm using when. Flipping over, I'm just gluing this first page to the back of the name page just because it's a page that kind of sits awkwardly. Originally I was going to use it, but then I decided against it just because the folding and the opening was really annoying the crap out of me, and so I was like, you know what, this is not worth it, and so I just glued the page down. On the other side, on the left hand side, I'm just writing the words 2022 in this font that I actually found on, well, I didn't actually find the font. Elizabeth from Plant Based Pride used it in her last two journals, the 2020 and the 2021. Sorry, 2021 and the 2022 one that she posted recently, and I just really liked it, so I decided to go with a similar thing and keep it quite simple, just black and white, and just write down the words 2022. I'm really sorry for any background noises that you guys are gonna hear. My flatmates seem to be going in and out of the doors and slamming them shut, so there's that. So while on the left hand page I'm writing 2022, on the right hand page I'm doing my year at a glance spread. Now a lot of people don't use this spread, which I completely understand because it's literally just a page of calendars for the month, which I get that you wouldn't use it, but I actually refer to it quite often, which is surprising because I didn't think I would, and originally I included it only for continuity purposes, but I use it quite a lot and I actually quite like it. I did actually invest in a set of stamps. They're not wooden stamps, they're rubber stamps which you stick on the acrylic block and use. Now you guys will see me flipping back and forth quite a bit because I decided that I would do my year at a glance as well as my future log calendars at the same time, because I didn't want to do the whole thing all over again. It just didn't make sense. So I on the year at a glance page marked which month started on what day, and I'm just using those calendars and going back and forth and stamping them, which is always fun. I'll set up the future log page later, but it's just the calendars that I'm doing first. I actually really like this stamping system just because it made everything a lot faster. I mean, I've seen, and I have done it, I have struggled writing the dates for so long, and I do it once in this setup as well, but that's because I don't do that spread in calendar form, I do it in vertical dates form, so that was about to happen at some point. But basically, I've seen people struggle, I have struggled, especially if you do something wrong, you have to just do the entire thing all over again. In my 2021 setup for the second half of the year, I actually had to stick a whole other page on top because I screwed up so many times. And actually, even in this setup, I did screw up, which I did cut out. Even so, for June, instead of stamping the calendar starting from Wednesday, I did it from Thursday, which was such a stupid mistake. So I just went back and I whited it out and I did it from Wednesday. Again, I just cut that bit out just because you guys didn't need to see that. Now I'm just waiting for the black pen that I did for the headers of the months to dry, and just adding a little bit of washi, nice and colorful, much like the outside of my journal this time, to the spread next to it, and I think it looks really cute. Now I'm just writing the names of the months at the top on the black pen using white because why not, it's a little bit something extra. And I again screw up in this bit. Instead of writing July, I wrote August for that month, so then I went back and I blacked it out and I wrote July again. Honestly guys, I screw up so many times, it's not even funny. Flipping to the next spread, it's my handy dandy grid spacing guide. The first person to do this was, as always, the queen of bullet journaling, Amanda Ridgely herself, and I really love the system, and honestly you guys will see me later in the spread literally coming back to refer to the grid spacing guide literally as I'm setting up the first few spreads in the journal, so that really tells you how useful it is, especially when I'm setting up my monthlies and my weeklies. I don't need to sit and count every single guide, so I've just split it into halves, and then using the orange pen I've done it 2 sections, then using red I've done 3, then using purple I've done 4 and left it at that. Honestly, with the purple grid spacing, I started on the side of the page that didn't have the numbers, but were I to do it normally in my actual using spreads, I would space it out in such a way that I'd leave 1 dot grid at the bottom and 1 dot grid at the top and space it out evenly. The page next to that, I'm going to do a quote, but I wanted to do that at the very end just because it's not exactly an integral part of this, and yeah, so I just thought I'd leave it till the very end. As it would so happen, when I was filming the quote, my phone decided, let's run out of storage, and so I actually couldn't film that, and I didn't realize that it didn't film that till after, so you guys aren't actually going to see me make the quote, but honestly it was quite simple, it was just lettering, so there wasn't much else to it. Now I'm doing the future log spread, which again is inspired by Amanda Ridgely's last year's setup, in which she does a mini Dutch doll book thing for her future log, which I totally understand because I do actually use my future log a lot. I didn't in my first one, and then somehow it just piled up. I started adding birthdays and submission dates and flight dates and things in general. Like, I don't know, it just really got suddenly really big. Now the washi tape that I've used on the sides is actually from her store. I really like this washi tape. I think it's really very beautiful and I love using it because it's such a nice quality and texture. I just really like it, honestly, guys. And like I said, everything that I use will be linked down below. I'm really sorry that my bullet journal is kind of tilted diagonally for the next couple of spreads, just because they're kind of simple, but honestly it's like, it's just me writing down the headers and not actually filling anything else out. And as I'm writing, I just like to have my paper a little bit diagonal. So the spread on the left for that was goals, and the right was 22 things to do in 2022, which I haven't filled out either. I will when 2022 starts. Oh my god. Then my next spread is a package tracker, because as you guys know, the pandemic doesn't seem to want to end, and so we're doing a lot of online shopping here, and I love shopping, so online shopping. So I just have a simple package tracker. You can see me referring to my grid spacing guide. I just have a simple package tracker with just 3 columns. The first is what I ordered, the second is the date I ordered it, the third is the date it was shipped, and the fourth is the date that I got it. It also does help when you're in accommodation, because sometimes you check and it says delivered and you go downstairs and you know they haven't logged it, or they don't know what you're talking about, and yeah, it's just very handy to do that. Now on the right hand side, I'm doing a schedule page. This I covered in my spreads for students video. This is just a daily spread, and I will block out time bits with a key when I have classes or when I'm working, or all of that. So that's what it is. Now the next spread, flipping over, is when did I last. I actually picked this up from Art and Fox's 2021 setup, and I thought it was a really good idea. And originally I put it in because I thought, you know, I'd use it a couple of times or whatever. But you guys would genuinely be surprised at the number of times I've used this spread and how handy I've found it to keep track of everything. I, in my bullet journal in the last half of 2021, was even keeping track of my period on the when did I last spread. But then I decided, looking at Elizabeth from Plant-Based Bride, looking at her setup, decided that I wanted to create an extra period tracker to keep it slightly separate. And obviously I won't be tracking ovulation and such. I'm not a married woman. I don't need to keep track of that. I don't want to get pregnant anytime soon. In fact, quite the opposite, honestly. But yeah, but I do menstruate. I do get my period. And so I like to keep track of the dates, because sometimes I can forget and suddenly I'll just be in pain. And then I realize, oh shit, my period's approaching. Or I'll just be so cranky and moody that I will start crying on the phone to my parents. And then it'll be suddenly, alright, my period's now. Tomorrow. Starts tomorrow. And that's never fun. So I do want to track the due dates, if it's late, and all of that. And keep a track of that on this. Actually, originally, I wanted to end this setup using a quote page, because it just looks nice when it ends with that. But I didn't do that, just because the spreads ended nicely facing one another. And on the next page, I'll be doing my January setup, so I didn't see the need for it. And this is the page where I write down all the dates. And it was bad. So if I had to do it 3 times, that is for my You're at a Glance, my future log, and this page, I think I would die a little inside. So I'm really, really happy that I got those stamps. I got the stamps off Amazon, but I got the stamp pad off Miso paper. Like I said, I'm gonna link everything down below that I used. And now is my final flip through. So I just went back as my phone was malfunctioning to add little bits of decoration that is just some washi tape around. To this page I added a 2022 please be good at the bottom, just because I really hope this year turns out better than 2020 or 2021 was. But yeah, I actually really like how the setup turned out. You can now see the quote. You don't have to have it all figured out to move forward, just take the next step. I thought that was a really cute quote. And you can see my future log. I really like this future log just because it gives me enough space to keep track of everything, and it looks cute and all of that good stuff. I added categories to my goals: YouTube, university, art, personal, and financial. And I will be adding my actual goals to that once 2022 starts. And that is it for my bullet journal setup for the year of 2022, or at least the first half, and we'll figure it out for the second half. Actually, I really like this journal too. The color, again, I don't like the linen cover, but I do like the color and the design at the front. So guys, that was that. That was my 2022 setup. I didn't include any content planning spreads because I bought a separate notebook for my content planning, which that's always fun. It's nice to have a separate notebook for everything. Anyway, so if you guys want any particular things from me, if you guys want to see any particular things from me in 2022, leave them down below and I will try and get to them. And I'm going to be pre-filming a lot of content because January is quite busy for me, and I don't want to be one that I don't want it to be a repeat of this year where every time I got a little bit busy I didn't upload for the week, because that's not what I want to do on this channel. But if you guys want to see anything in particular from me, let me know down below. And that was my setup. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, head down below and subscribe to my channel and leave a like on the video. And yeah, like I said, let me know if you want something in particular from me in terms of content. Let me know if you followed my setup, because that's always fun. Let me know if you didn't and what you changed in my setup. What are the spreads that you used, if you did, from my setup. And yeah, so I hope you guys have an amazing day, and bye!